Hello everyone. If civil service aspirants during preparation for civil service exam is confused about one subject within the scheme of general studies, it is none other than Indian economy, which otherwise is very interesting subject, highly dynamic subject and easy to prepare module if someone approaches this subject with right strategy and positive frame of mind. Today in this session, I am going to discuss what should be the right approach and right strategy to prepare Indian economy. I will also be sharing with all of you that what standard books, reference and study material you must study during the preparation of Indian economy for GS. I would also be talking about what all finds explicit mention within the syllabus prescribed by UPSC, and then I will brief you the importance of Indian economy in the overall scheme of exam. So this is going to be an interesting discussion and you all have to participate in this discussion, listen to the talk by me carefully and accordingly you can formulate your strategy to approach Indian economy. First thing which I would like to say that majority of civil service aspirants commit one strategic error while approaching Indian economy, and that is the reason for their struggle when they study Indian economy. And you know what is that strategic error? That they allow a field to develop in the beginning itself that Indian economy is very difficult. No, Indian economy is an easy subject, and particularly what kind of questions they are asking, the kind of questions which they are asking in prelims exam, main exam can be answered if you have rock solid foundation in the subject and you have ability to think, reflect, correlate with what you observe in day-to-day life, then it's an easy subject to prepare. First thing which I would like to share with each one of you, that as far as Indian economy as a module or subject in the overall scheme of civil service exam is concerned, is very important in prelims, of course in main, even in essay paper of GS main or essay paper of main, and then when you go for interview, which actually is personality test, the 30 minutes purposive conversation which UPSC board will do with you, almost 7-8 minutes, they will talk on some issue which relates with Indian economy. And if you are confident and comfortable in this subject, then you will be able to participate in the conversation with a completely different state of being, and you will come out of the boardroom smiling with satisfaction that yes, through your answers you were able to impress the board members. So Indian economy is going to play an important role in prelims, main, essay paper of main and interview. And before I talk about that what should be the approach, I would first like to talk with you all that what all you have to prepare for prelims, what all you have to prepare for main exam, and what all things should be given due consideration when you are going for interview or personality test related with Indian economy. Now, I would just like you all to have this awareness that every year in the prelims exam, in paper 1 of GS, they will ask 18 to 20 questions. 18 to 20 questions they will ask in the prelim from Indian economy, and it's very difficult to draw linear boundary to demarcate Indian economy with Indian geography, Indian economy with social issues, Indian economy with environment and ecology, and Indian economy with science and technology as well. Because in agriculture, if they are asking about any technology mission, then people from science and tech will say that it's a question on science and tech, but those who are comfortable in Indian economy will say that it's a question from Indian economy. And same goes, even some overlapping is what you can see between Indian economy and Indian geography. But otherwise, on an average, each year prelims exam in the paper 1, UPSC will ask 18 to 20 questions, and these questions are from current developments as well as the core theoretical part of Indian economy. But most of the questions are based on current developments. And if you go through the syllabus, then you will find on your own that there is explicit mention of, there is explicit mention of certain thing within the syllabus for prelims. As far as Indian economy is concerned, they have explicitly mentioned economic and social development. So they will ask you question from economic and social development in India. They may ask you question from poverty. They will ask you questions from demographics. Where their main focus will be on population, settlement, urbanization, and various issues related with population. Then they may ask question from social sector initiatives. And this is a very important topic from prelims point of view. But what I would just like you all to remember, that if we do microscopic examination of what is mentioned in the syllabus, and if we club that with previous year questions which they have asked from Indian economy in the prelims, then we can reach to this logical conclusion that from Indian economy in the prelims, they will ask questions from key sectors of Indian economy, which includes money and banking, which includes fiscal sector, which includes external sector, which includes social sector, which includes agriculture sector, which includes industry, which includes planning, development, national income, etc. But what I would like you all to say, that most of the questions which you will find in the paper is from money banking, fiscal sector, external sector, social sector, particularly the newer initiatives in social sector, agriculture sector, and some questions may be from industry, planning, development. I would even like to include infrastructure separately. Infrastructure. Okay. And when you are doing external sector, you should be, primarily focused towards India's economic interaction with the world and economic institution, global economic institutions like IMF, World Bank, WTO, etc., ADB, Asian Development Bank, BRICS Bank, and so on and so forth. And within India also, right, different sectors when you are doing, institutions which are playing important role within the sector. So when you are doing money and banking, then RBI. When you are doing stock market, then SEBI, and so on and so forth. So what I am just trying to say, that if you analyze what is mentioned within the syllabus and what kind of questions they are asking in the prelims, then you can reach to this conclusion that you have to prepare key sectors of economy, and special focus, I am just going in order of importance. So money and banking you have to give too much importance, then fiscal sector, then external sector, then social sector. Within social sector, your key focus should be on the social sector initiatives, and then agriculture is very important from prelims point of view, and others which are mentioned. But every year 18 to 20 questions. Most of the questions are current in nature, but some questions theoretical core within the subject is what you may expect. This is what you have to know as far as prelims is concerned. As far as main is concerned, in GS paper 3, they are going to ask questions from economics, and I would just like you all to know this, that this paper 3 of GS is perhaps the most diverse paper of GS in terms of different subjects which we have to study in this paper. In paper 3, you will be asked questions from Indian economy, you will be asked questions from science and technology, you will be asked question from environment and ecology, you will be asked question from disaster management, you will be asked question from security related issues where your focus should be internal security. So no other paper of GS main is more diverse than paper 3 in terms of number of subjects which we have to cover. And most of these subjects are technical in nature, and therefore your approach towards paper 3 of GS should be completely different. But first thing, right, in paper 3 from Indian economy, they are going to ask you, right, they are going to ask you 8 to 10 questions, and these 8 to 10 questions will be worth 120 to 130 marks. 120 to 130 marks. I hope you all are aware that in the paper 3, they will be asking you questions for which you have to write answers either in 150 words or in 250 words. And if you are writing 250 words question, then it will be worth 15 marks. And if you are writing 150 words questions, then it will be worth 10 marks. So 120 to 130 marks worth questions you may expect from economics in the main GS paper 3. Very, very important. And if you look into the syllabus, and again if you club what is mentioned within the syllabus with the kind of questions which they have asked in the past 7-8 years in this paper 3 of GS, then you can reach to this logical conclusion that broadly the syllabus as well as the kind of questions which they are asking in the main exam broadly can be classified in two groups, something like pure Indian economy, and second agronomics. agronomics in India, right? Agronomics in India. So these are the two broad areas from which you may expect questions in the paper, right? In the paper, I would say 3 of general studies, paper 3 of general studies. Now, if you see, right, if you see the syllabus, see one thing very important, before formulating the strategy about how to approach a paper or subject in GS, you should know precisely what is mentioned within the syllabus. Majority of the aspirants, if they are struggling in GS preparation, their struggle is on account of their unawareness about what precisely is mentioned within the syllabus. So I said that the questions which they are going to ask you in the main exam from Indian economy broadly can be divided into two group: questions which are based on pure Indian economy and questions which are based on agronomics in India. Now, when I say pure Indian economy, in this you just have to prepare issues relating to planning. These are the topics which finds explicit mention within the syllabus. You have to prepare mobilization of resources. You have to prepare mobilization of resources. You have to prepare inclusive growth. Inclusive growth and issues arising out of it, arising from it. Very important concept. Inclusive growth, meaning a growth model in which benefits are reaching to all sections of society and every sector of economy is getting positively impacted. So inclusive growth model and issues arising out of it, that is what you have to prepare. Then you have to prepare very, very important topic, government budgeting. Government budgeting. A lot of questions. Every year they will ask some question from this particular topic which finds exclusive mention within the syllabus for main exam in Indian economy. Government budgeting, and every aspect of it is what you have to do. Then you have to prepare investment models. Investment models, different types of investment models which evolved in post-economic liberalization era in India, post-1991. Investment models like triple P, PPP, public-private partnership, or investment model like BOOT, build, operate, transfer, or investment model like BOOT, BOOT, right? Build, operate, own and transfer. Now the hybrid models, very different type of hybrid models which are gaining popularity these days, we will discuss. But investment models you have to prepare. Then in addition to investment models, you have to prepare infrastructure. Infrastructure. And within infrastructure, you have to give a special focus to energy sector, where you have to prepare energy security, energy policy, and new and renewable energy sources, and even some science aspect of energy sector, but energy within infrastructure. And second important is transport. And within transport, all the four means of transport. So roadways, air transport, water transport, and railways. Okay, and now the newer transport system in urban metro cities, mega cities of India, like metro rail, mass rapid transit system, like bullet trains, like other transport projects and all those things which are there. So you have to prepare, right? You have to prepare all these, right, within pure Indian economy, but a special focus should be on mobilization of resources, government budgeting, investment model, issues relating to planning, which is very broad and comprehensive topic mentioned, right, for paper 3 of GS. Now, I would say that equally important is agronomics, that is the economy related to agriculture, and here you must prepare land reforms in India. Land reforms in India. Very, very important topic. They are asking questions from land reforms with very high degree of frequency. Almost every year or alternate year, you will find some or other questions, and even the nature of the questions, if we see related with land reform, they are twisted with higher degree of difficulty, we will see. Okay, so land reforms in India is what you have to prepare. Then you have to prepare cropping pattern, you have to prepare irrigation system. Last year they asked a question on irrigation system, right? You have to prepare direct and indirect farm subsidy, direct and indirect farm subsidies. You have to prepare minimum support price, MSP related issues. You have to prepare all issues related with buffer stock. You have to prepare food security, which finds very explicit mention and again a popular topic on which they are asking questions. You have to prepare economics of animal rearing. In this, you have to even prepare food processing related issues. Food processing related issues, everything related with food processing, supply chain management, forward chain, backward chain, what are the constraints and challenges, outlook of food processing sector in India, and many other things related with food processing, And I would say, right, that there should be a special focus on PDS, public distribution system. Okay, so very, very important. If you will ask me, I will say that out of, let us assume that if they are going to ask 10 questions, then maybe 5 to 6 is based on agroeconomics and 4 to 5 questions are based on pure Indian economy. And I told you that some portion within this module has cross-disciplinary approach, and topics are also, having overlapping. Technology missions, now it can be in science and technology, it can be in economics, but this is what you have to prepare from the main point of view, and you should be very clear that all the questions which are going to be asked, you have to answer either in 150 words or maximum up to 250 words. Now, why this clarity is important? Because finally, whatever you read on a particular topic, ultimately a question on that topic which you have to answer in 250 words. Now, once you will have the clarity that you have to answer the question in 250 words, then you will be very clear before studying that topic that finally you have to write an answer in 250 words. Then you should read a content not more than 2000 words or 3000 words. It's not very wise to study, 1 million word content just to cater the need of one topic, and finally there will be a question which is to be answered either in 150 words or 250 words. So this awareness will help you that you will choose the study material very cautiously. Quality content and limited content is what you should choose on every topic which finds explicit mention within the syllabus. So this is about the main. Now, importance of economy is even in the essay paper in the main exam. Why? In section B of the essay paper, 4 topics which are given, and out of the 4 you have to choose one to write an essay in 800 to 1000 words. One topic in the list of the 4 will relate with Indian economy. Directly or indirectly, you will find that one topic relates with Indian economy. So if you are doing justice to preparation of Indian economy, it will place you advantageously even in the essay paper of GS in the main essay paper in the main examination. And once during the preparation, if you are able to develop confidence in Indian economy and you have broad understanding of all important economic issues before the country, then when you will go for personality test, you will step inside UPSC building with confidence and you will walk out of UPSC building with a smile and satisfaction that you were able to give your best shot inside the boardroom. Believe me, that 30 minutes purposive conversation which UPSC board will do with you after you qualify main to judge the suitability of your personality for a career in public service, approximately 8 to 10 minutes board will talk with you on some issues which relates with Indian economy. And while you are talking with the board, again I would say, you need to present a strong case of selection, a strong case for your selection in IAS, and that you will be able to do only when you are able to establish to board that you have understanding of economic issues and the economic challenges which are there. For those challenges, some solution is there in your thoughts, and you are an individual with pro-democracy, pro-poor, pro-system mindset, and you know economic challenges. Economic prudence is there in your approach and attitude. So this segment, this subject is going to play an important role even in interview or personality test. Now, once you know that what to study and what not to study because of your awareness about the syllabus prescribed by UPSC for Indian economy, now I would talk about the strategy which you all should have. And if you can formulate a strategy in accordance with what I have to suggest, believe me, all of you will reach to a level in Indian economy where you will feel confident any day to go and write prelims exam or to go and write the main exam or to sit before the UPSC board to talk very confidently on any economic issues. So when you are preparing Indian economy, you will have to ensure that your preparation goes through 3 stages, right? 3 stages. Very, very important that your preparation goes through 3 stages. The first stage is foundation. The first stage is foundation. You know, majority of aspirants, if they struggle in Indian economy, their main struggle is because of weak foundation. They will start preparing Indian economy. They will pick up some or other standard book to read or study, and even before that, right, before they, when they have started reading that particular book, they don't know the basic difference between money and currency. They don't know the difference between GDP, nominal GDP and real GDP. They don't know the difference between monetary policy and fiscal policy. They don't know the difference between deficit and depreciation. And this is the main reason why majority of the aspirants will struggle with Indian economy as a subject when they start preparing the subjects. So primarily they are struggling. Why? Because they have weak foundation. So I am suggesting to all of you that in the beginning you must put some efforts to strengthen the foundation. And if you want to strengthen the foundation, if you want to create conceptual clarity about basic terms, then you must read some NCERT books. Some NCERT books. Those who feel that they do not know even the ABC of economics and anything about Indian economy, they must read in the beginning economics book of 9th class, and they should read new edition of 9th class NCERT book. And second is, after 9th class, they also should read 10th class NCERT book, that is Understanding Economic Development, of 10th class. And again you should read new edition. These two books must, for those who have a feel that they don't know even the ABC of economics and ABC of Indian economy, then they must read 9th and 10th class NCERT book, new edition. Those who feel that they have some understanding, they can start directly with 11th class NCERT book, and this is must for everyone. So Indian economic development, Indian economic development, this is class 11th NCERT book. Class NCERT book, and all new edition. Okay, all new. This is must. Everybody, even if you have done your graduation, with economics as one of the subject, then also you should read once Indian Economic Development 11th class NCERT. Then second must read is Introductory Macroeconomics. Introductory Macroeconomics. This is 12th class NCERT book, and again you should read new edition, and very important book, right? Very important book. And while you are reading these NCERT books, you must use internet. You must use internet. What you should do? Any term you are finding in the book while reading NCERT book which you don't know, then immediately you should Google the term and should try to equip yourself with that term so that you understand that term. So very important, you have to use internet while reading these NCERT books. And the terms which you are finding, which you don't know, immediately at that time itself, you need to Google the term and try to see some basic thing about that term. Try to learn that term. All of you, if you will participate in this exercise, you can, understand most of the term. It's about, self-initiative. You need to take some initiative on your own. Okay, but you need to make yourself familiar with the term and then continue reading the NCERT books in a systematic and rhythmic manner. And I would suggest one thing, that while you are reading NCERT books, no need to make notes, but you should underline the key words, the key concepts, the key themes, and the most important point within the page is what you can write in your own handwriting with pen on the top, bottom, or the left or the right blank margins which are there in the page. And towards the end of chapter, the questions which are there, you must solve those questions, you must answer those questions, and there is no need to answer the questions separately in the notebook, but in the book itself. And if you are finding the space in the book inadequate, then you should paste notice stick, and on that notice stick you answer. And if too much descriptive answer is there, then you make the synopsis. Rather than writing the full answer, you should just jot down the key points which you would have included in the answer for that particular question. So while reading NCERT, underlining. While reading these 4 NCERT books, writing the key points of the page on the top and the bottom or the left or the right margin, and attempting the questions which are there towards the end of the chapter can be the game changer. And while reading the book, you must use internet, and any new term which is not explained in the book, then you need to use, internet, Google the term and try to know basic thing about the term. Now this can lead to creation of a rock solid foundation as far as economics is concerned. Okay, now second stage of your preparation is application part. And in this stage, you need to take your concepts, on all topics within the syllabus to a newer level or to a higher level or to a deeper level. Okay, newer level, higher level and deeper level. And as far, and let me tell you that when you are studying economics, you will have to do thinking. You will have to reflect what you read in the textbook. Every time you should think on that particular. See how well you can correlate what you are studying in material and what you are seeing happening around you within the family, within the community, within the country and within the world. If you are not correlating, if you are not thinking and reflecting, then you will struggle. And when you start doing, you will find the subject very, very easy. And you will enjoy doing it. You may be hesitant in the beginning, but believe me, in the later stage, you will start enjoying. So very, very important is the second stage, that is application stage. Once you have created the foundation, then you have to, prepare the topics which are given in the syllabus in a systematic manner. And while you are preparing, you correlate what you are reading in the textbook, what you are reading in the newspaper with what is happening around you, in the family, in the country, in the world. So some thinking, some reflection, some brainstorming, and you will find subject very interesting, highly dynamic and easy to prepare. I always believe that if you do this, then economics preparation is nothing but use of common sense with good English, meaning you should have command over your language. That is what. So application part. Now in this stage, I would recommend, that you can read some standard books, but there is no need to read the entire book. Again, this is the strategic mistake which is committed by many aspirants, that they will pick one book and will try to read everything in the book. No. Immediately you should take out the syllabus and map the topics mentioned in the syllabus in the index page of the book, and then you choose the chapters which you are going to read, or no need to read the entire chapter, maybe some topic within the chapter you should read. So in this, at this stage, I would recommend, I am giving you the list of 3-4 books. You may choose 1 or 2, but you should not read the entire book, but you should read the topic within the book which is actually given within our syllabus. Explicit mention is there within the syllabus. One very good book is Indian Economy since independence. And second book by the same author, Indian Economy Performance and Policies. These 2 books written by Uma Kapila. Very good books. Both books are very good, exceptionally good, I would say. Okay, so you can choose one among the 2. You can choose both rather than reading the entire book. Read few chapters, read those chapters which overlaps with what explicitly finds mention within the syllabus. I can even say that you can even take Indian Economy by Ramesh Singh. Indian Economy by Ramesh Singh. Okay, you can even take this book. You can even think in terms of reading Indian Economy, by Dutt and Sundaram. But I would not suggest that you should read everything, right? Maybe agriculture chapter of Indian Economy from Dutt and Sundaram, right? If I have to recommend, chapters which relate with agriculture is what you can read from Dutt and Sundaram. Okay, choice is yours, right? Choice is yours. But all the four which I have discussed, equally good. But instead of reading the entire book, I would recommend selectively you should read one or two from among the four. First, you map what finds explicit mention within the syllabus and which chapter of the particular book overlaps with what finds mention, and read that particular chapter and read that chapter carefully, and this will help you to take your conceptual clarity and understanding on that particular topic or theme or issue to a newer level, higher level. But while you are reading, you should always be governed with application part. You need to think after reading every paragraph. You need to think after completing every page. Thinking is very important. Reflection is very important. Correlation, of what you are reading in the textbook with what's happening around you is very, very important. So this will ensure, right? This will ensure that your conceptual clarity is reaching to a new level and application part. But the third stage is the most important stage, and this is, how well you are keeping yourself updated and informed about all current economic developments. All current economic developments. And this is where you have to, right? This is where you have to be very, very particular in your approach. Okay? Particular in your approach. So the third stage in your preparation is the vital stage. In this stage, you have to keep yourself fully updated and informed about current and contemporary economic developments. Most of the questions which they will ask in prelims or main exam, I would say 2/3 questions which they are going to ask from Indian economy in prelims and main exam is from current development. So this is why very, very important. Now, what I would suggest that in this scheme, very important role is going to be played by economic survey. Economic survey. So, what is important? I hope you all are aware that the day when finance minister will present budget in parliament normally, generally in the month of January or in the month of Feb, then before the presentation of budget, the economic survey is tabled in the two houses of parliament, and then it reaches in public domain. You must read economic survey. As a civil service aspirant, you must read economic survey. And whenever they publish economic survey, you should read volume 2. right? If you don't have economics as your optional, only for GS point of view, if you have to read economic survey, your focus should be on volume 2. And within volume 2, the first chapter, which is a general overview of Indian economy, that you should read twice, thrice. First time you should read, and 2-3 times revision of that particular chapter. And then you should read other chapters in volume 2. While reading other chapters, you can discount the facts which are there, except the important ones, very, very important ones. But other facts you may ignore, but you must read other chapters as well. And particularly when you are going for main exam, in the volume 2, the boxes which are given, in which you will find the content and the text in a beautiful words in a very precise manner, those boxes you must read properly, and you should make synopsis, that you should paste a notice stick in every page wherever there is box, and you should jot down the 5 important points given within that box. So economic survey, very important. Then budget speech. Budget speech of finance minister. Every year, while presenting a budget, the finance minister will deliver the speech, and that also speaks about the state of economy and the future course of action which government is planning. You must read the budget speech of finance minister. Then India yearbook. India yearbook. Few chapters. What you need to do? You just need to map the syllabus again to find out which chapter. Like if there is a chapter on agriculture, you must read. If there is a chapter on transport sector, you must read, and so on and so forth. Few chapters from India yearbook. This is what is very, very important. Then another important thing, you all must subscribe Yojana and Kurukshetra magazine. And this will help you in other modules of GS as well, but it will be of great help for Indian economy. It will help you in geography, it will help you in environment and ecology, it may help you in social issues, it may help you writing a wonderful essay, great essay, good essay to score high, but it will help you a lot in Indian economy. So Yojana and Kurukshetra. And what you should do, right, what you should do in your daily schedule of weekends, that is Saturday or Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, you dedicate a slot of 1 hour just to read articles from Yojana and Kurukshetra. Only on Saturday and Sunday in your daily schedule, you allocate one slot of 1 hour in which you will read Yojana and Kurukshetra. And what you should do, right? It means every weekend you can read 2 articles, right? Every weekend. Meaning in a month you can read 8 to 10 articles. So what you should do? From Yojana and Kurukshetra, whenever the issue is in your hands, you should first choose that this month I am going to read these 5-6 articles. You should decide. No need to read all articles of Yojana and Kurukshetra. Again, I am telling you that out of 18, 20, 22 articles which are in Yojana and Kurukshetra, choose 4 to 5. 4 to 5 from each, meaning 10 to 12 you have to read in a month. It means Saturday and Sunday you have given yourself 1 hour to read articles. And when you are reading articles of Yojana and Kurukshetra, again I am telling you, mapping is very important. So what you should do, right? What you should do when you are reading the article, underline the keywords, key concepts, and then prepare the synopsis and paste that synopsis in that page of Yojana and Kurukshetra. And once you have completed reading that article, then take out your smartphone, switch on the voice recorder, and record in your own voice the key highlights of that article. And as and when time permits, listen to that recording in non-academic time of yours while you are, going to get vegetables. Just put your headphone and listen to that recording once or twice. It will not take more than 5 minutes to record the key highlights of that article, and listen it thrice, 4 times. Week long you have time to listen to your own recordings. This is a smart way to revise, and you should map the articles of Yojana and Kurukshetra. As a part of your civil service preparation, you must be reading newspaper every day. So at least one article in a week you should choose from economics, and you should read and map that article with Indian economy. So what I am just trying to say, that you need to keep yourself updated and informed about current and contemporary developments. Now in this list, very important role is of PIB, and you should use PIB only for, only for few purpose. Okay, what? Any new social sector initiative, while reading newspaper or otherwise, if you have learned that this is a new scheme launched, this is a new program launched, this is a new initiative of the government, immediately you should take a printout of PIB notification of that scheme, that program, that policy, and you should read. You will find in a very precise, compact and best words, the government will release through PIB, a brief of that scheme. That is what you must do. Only for social sector initiatives, key programs, key policies of government, you should use PIB. No need to see every day what are the new releases through PIB, government releases through PIB. No. While reading newspaper, while listening to any debate or discussion in news hour, while reading Yojana and Kurukshetra, now you have learned that this is the new scheme, this is the new program. Immediately, go to PIB and try to find the PIB release of that particular scheme program. So you need to keep yourself fully updated and informed about current and contemporary development in economics. If you do, then you will be very comfortable. So I just want to generate, all of you should generate an internal dialogue that economics or Indian economy in particular as a module within the scheme of GS is an easy subject to prepare, provided you approach the subject in a right way. In GS Strategist online program, we will conduct many thought-provoking sessions to cater the need of this module, and we will cover all topics which finds explicit mention within the syllabus. Thank you very much.